Yeah, it was good to see a lot of guys get opportunities to play. We're going to need everyone, but obviously started out shooting the ball well, and guys played hard, and a lot of guys got experience. So I thought it was, a positive night in that regard.
Talk about the defense.
Yeah, in the second half of the last number of games, teams have shot a high percentage, and I don't even know what they shot in the second half. They shot a
low percentage.
Lower, right. And I challenged the guys at halftime. I said, regardless of the score, respect the possession, come out ready, warm up hard, come out ready to go. Don't give them easy looks. We shot 7 of 11 in the first half, and then we were 1 of 11 from 3 in the second half. But I thought our defense was tight in the gaps, and we didn't give them too many open looks. I thought we were a little better defensively to start the second half, which has not been the case in the last few games. And so that was solid. Some guys had some plays. There were some turnovers and offensive rebounds you look at, although some of those were at the end, the offensive rebounds. But they're a team that spreads you and tries to attack off the dribble. And for the most part, we were a little tighter in our gaps. And when they did get open looks, they didn't make them, so it can be a little skewed. But I liked some of I thought Marco gave us a good lift, and Jay gave us a good lift. Braxton was good on the glass.
Okay. Josh, and then Bennett.
There's been a lot of attention paid to Jay Huff on the defensive end, and I believe he didn't play against Maryland, Wisconsin, and had a couple big blocks today. Is that the sort of defensive performance you've been wanting to see out of him for a while?
Yeah, no, it was nice to see him bother shots, and he's active. He has, good hands and skills offensively. This team didn't set a lot of ball screens, but, Jay's just got to continue to work on, his alertness, his activity, and I thought he did a nice job. He had 2 good days of practice. Like I said, we're going to need everybody, and I always am looking for matchups for Jay out there, and I thought he did a good job and was alert, and you could see his length. Even if a guy beats him or beats someone else, he has the ability and the timing with his being 7 foot and fairly quick off the floor to bother a shot. So rim protection is important, and he took a step in the right direction. Against a team that's a little different than some of the competition in our league, size-wise. They had some quickness, but it's just a little different. But I thought he handled himself nicely on both ends of the floor.
More on the rotations. This is about the time of year where you start to cut down a little bit, getting into the better competition. What have you seen so far with guys like Jay, Mamadi coming in here moving forward?
Yeah, like I said, I think we're going to need them all at different times. You can't play everybody equal minutes, and the game will dictate who's playing, how guys practice. All that stuff's there because, there's not a lot of separation with a number of guys, and certain guys are going to be suited for games. But Marco he didn't play in some games, and then against Maryland gave us a nice lift. And I thought to see Jay today, and Mamadi gave us a good lift against Wisconsin. All those things are important. I think we've established our 7 guys, and then I think 8 and 9 are still up for grabs, and obviously Cody's 10.
Coach, this is the first time we've seen Frankie on the bench since the indefinite leave. What's the situation status there?
Yeah, we just he suited up. He practiced for a few days, and it's great to have him back. And part of it, and we just want him to suit up, and we'll just keep him taking it going forward. But he's back with us, and we're excited that he's with us.
Okay, back. Damon.
You keep talking about you're going to need everybody at some point. Flip side of it being nights like this where you don't need to use Kyle, you get those guys some rest. How big can that be, bigger picture down the road?
Yeah, that's important. I still played 26, 27 minutes, but I think it's good for the young guys or the less experienced players to be out there. And the first half I put Cody in, and everybody played, in the first half in those settings, and extended minutes in the second half. And the other guys still got some work in, but then didn't need to play at the end, so that worked out well, and I think it's valuable for everyone.
Sure.
Tony, getting off the start you have and playing some good opponents along the way, is anything about this team come along that you didn't expect?
Well, I don't know. I think they're offensively, we've talked about it, they're a smart group. They know how to play. Every now and then we'll shoot a couple of questionable shots, but they understand how to play, how to move the ball. Defensively, we're still still trying to come because teams are going to really attack us, as I mentioned, in those second halves when they've scored in the paint or shot high percentages. So our ability collectively to learn how to keep the ball out of the lane, and then, as this was the message today, individually, can you get to shooters and use your quickness that way? Kihei's given us a nice lift. I think, you know, the minutes he's playing and the role he has been a pleasant surprise. And then obviously, you know, we didn't know if Braxton was going to be eligible, so that has given us some quality depth in that regard too. And there's some versatility. So I wasn't sure, but I was hoping we'd be versatile. And then again, we talked about some of the other guys, but I like the smarts. I think we need to keep coming defensively. I'll always say that, but I mean it because I know what teams will do and the talent will go against.
Time for two more. Hank.
Tony, it seemed like when you were rotating a lot of guys in early in the game, it was kind of sloppy at times. And then when you put Ty and Kyle back in, it all kind of calmed down. How much of a concern is it, the sloppiness, and then how much of a relief is it that when you put those guys back in, it stops?
Yeah, you know, against Maryland, we played a sound offensive game with only a couple of turnovers, and then we had 7 or 8 or whatever it was in the first half. I think when Kihei's on the floor and Ty and Kyle and DeAndre, you have 4 ball handlers, or they can play with the ball, without the ball, and that usually helps your decision making. So when 1 or 2 of those isn't out there, that's where I want to see the soundness. But those guys have played a lot of minutes. They understand the value of the possession and taking care of the ball. And again, I think we're pretty smart and sound for the most part offensively. That's been a positive. And for us, low turnovers are important. Not that we always say being aggressively wise and being wise with our patience. You know, wisdom in that. Like, we really want them to be aggressive with wisdom offensively, and we really want them to be patient with wisdom, because you can go too far on either end of that spectrum, and I think those guys understand that, because you can't play hesitant. You got to be assertive, but once you step over that line against good defense, it'll be buckets at the other end.
The atmosphere for all the games with VCU has been really good. They've been hard-fought games. Has that series been kind of what you hoped it would be in terms of a challenge in non-conference when you set it up with Shaka?
Of course, yeah. No, it's great respect for that program. And, you know, as we talked about playing teams in the state, we haven't shied away from that. And they're a quality opponent, and they play an athletic, aggressive style. Coach Rhodes is an excellent coach. They have a guy that sat out last year that's really good. Actually, Devin Hall's father coached him. They just it'll be a hard-fought game, of course, and I hope it'll be a great atmosphere.